Everybody, welcome back to another episode of Side DFS Fantasy NASCAR Picks. I'm Mr. Megro 31. Got the Pocono track here. Xfinity and Truck Series races have been decent this week. Didn't had a lot of good plays, just didn't have the right combinations of them in lineups. So if I had like a hybrid lineup of like all my lineups, of course, I'd be a millionaire by now, but case for all of us sometimes. So Cup Series, weather should be nice. I mean, it's hot. I got the fan going on right now, and it's just it's closest track to my house, about a little bit over an hour away. So, fun fact about me: I've never been to a NASCAR race, so maybe one day. It's probably the track that make the most sense here, that or Watkins Glen, where I'm located. But I think I'd rather go far away and see a decent track someplace else. But we'll see. Anyways, let's get to the breakdown here. Ty Gibbs, I got the pull. Toyota's just looked really strong out there in practice and qualifying. So I think that he's going to be upside dominator here. I think Byron might be able to get past him, but we'll see. It's only a matter of time. Like Gibbs is just so close. So I think he's more GPP play. I don't know if I can play him in cash because his car wasn't like super dominant, and he like dominated practice, and he like blew away everybody and got the pole. And you think like, okay, this one's dialed in. This is the one. I don't have the feeling for that. I like him. Don't get me wrong. I will be playing some Ty Gibbs in my dominator group, but in this track where it's hard to pass a leader, you really have one or two dominators, sometimes three. Uh, so you want to look for like finishing position and place differential where you can get it here. I think that he'll have a good day, but I don't know if he can actually like win this race or go out there and like dominate a ton of laps. Now, uh, one thing, the way this track is just because it's so long, know the way the turns are and stuff, that road course drivers tend to do better, and sometimes super speedway drivers. Some people are really good on those. So, and Gibbs is good on road courses, so I think that helps also. Byron, I think, is a potential cash dominator here for your cash lineups. That's why he has the purple. I think he'll be highly owned also. Hendrick's cars all had decent speed here, and he's been good form recently. And he ran the Xfinity race too, just to get another feel for the track. So uh, hopefully that helps him out here. Truex has always done well here. Another JGR car, and Hamlin. I just think that they've obviously figured something out. They have really been just super dominant at winning at this track for many, many years in the JGR program. So obviously they got some really good notes and techniques or whatever. So either one of these drivers I think will be good. I think they'll be very popular too. Um, Hamlin, I'm going to go with the purple just because he has won like multiple races, and like he got disqualified for one of the races, so he should have won that one also, and been really good here in the next gen car and on tracks like this. So I think that he's probably it's his race to lose probably. Josh Berry just really great in speed and practice, but he put together a really good lap here for qualifying. I fear he's going to go backwards. I have a GPP, but he might be just a fade for me. Bowman, now that he ended up with a win, can play around with some different strategies now. There's not the pressure to go out there and get the wins. So that's something that I still think he wants stage points and they're important. But if this turns into a fuel mileage race, having that win, he might be able to go a little bit more aggressive or something just to try to get another win. And that could be boom or bust. So I think he's going to be a GPP for me. Tyler Reddick, I think that he's got the speed in this car to be a dominator also. He think he just got loose in qualifying run, so he didn't get up there as high as he should, but he should have the speed with all the rest of the Toyotas. And definitely has an opportunity to get up there and lead laps and have a good finishing position. He should finish in the top 10 here and have a decent day. So I think he's going to have high ownership, and I think he's another one that you consider as cash dominator or cash play overall. Ryan Blaney, GPP again. The Fords just haven't been as good here. He looked okay in in practice, but I think it's GPP for me here. Dane Smith, he's overachieved last couple of weeks. Actually, kind of busted out of his season-long slump, and actually looks like the guy that we thought was super impressive coming out of the Truck Series and had a lot of potential. Um, kind of like we look at Corey Heim now, but he got in the Spire car, and it seemed to be like the third-rate Spire car out of all of them. Obviously, it looked like Hocevar and LaJoy got the cream of the crop, and he got all the leftovers. But he's kind of proven us wrong last couple of weeks, and I think he should start way too far forward here. I just can't play him up here. Fade for me. Joey Logano for the Penske. He's boomer bust too. Again, doesn't have a ton of speed. He did have a decent qualifying lap. He has been good at Pocono, but not like elite like some of the JGR cars here. So I think a GPP also like his teammate Blaney. Chase Elliott. I mean, he technically has a win here for finishing third with the disqualification to Bush and Hamlin, but he had to put himself in the position there. Like I said, the Hendricks cars were the next tier down and pretty fast with speed. So I think you can play him in cash. There's a little bit of place differential here. Should uh, be a top 10 car. Maybe I'll sniff the top five. And I think I'll meter him ownership, so that kind of helps too. Larson, like he and could have won this last week, but got doored, run into by Hamlin. And this is one of the a couple weeks ago, like same thing happened again, and his spotter or his crew chief or somebody like said like, "Why do you always let him do that?" And then Kyle had some profanity to yell back to him. But I think that he has some place differential here. I think he'll be very popular, and I think he definitely a top five. And if he gets a little bit more aggressive out there and keeps his elbows out a little bit and doesn't let any of these Joe Gibbs cars push him around, and I think that he could potentially win this. So I think he's in a good spot here, starting 12th. Bell is going to be my first 100K driver here. He's probably price wise and starting position and practice wise going to be the forgotten JGR car. We've seen him have some issues on pit road and just not coming in too fast, coming in too slow, the stops being too long, the decision making, things like that. Like, but he can put a race together. He has been really good here. So have these cars, and again, I think he'll um have high ownership. But I don't know if that's the case. I think it'll be more of like a medium ownership because again, I think people are going to gravitate more towards the other cars. And again, I think he's going to be forgotten. So I think that's why he's a solid 100K choice here. I also like Keselowski right below him. I know the Fords weren't fast, but the RFK uh, ones did seem decent. And Keselowski is really understands Pocono. He's always run pretty well here, even in the next gen car. And starting 14th gives you a little bit of place differential. I think that he could have a kind of a surprising day, and that's what you're going to need to try to take down the 100K. Hocevar, he's had some good runs recently, but he's starting way too far forward here. So GPP to fade for me. Daniel Suarez has always been good at Pocono also. Uh, I just, I don't know. It's hard to roster him in cash. I'll definitely be playing with some in GPP. Just at the price point, starting 16th. Speed and practice look decent. I think he's got a lot of upside here. I don't think I have a ton of ownership. And if you think Bell's going to be too popular and you want to put like Suarez in your 100K lineup over him, then I'm perfectly fine with that. Austin Dillon, way too far forward, fade. Just hasn't had the speed or anything this year. I just can't see him doing well. There's certain tracks where we want to play him. This is not one. I know he's good on super speedways usually, and I said that that's a contributing factor, but I just haven't seen him good at Pocono. So, gonna be a fade. Busher, like I said, the RFK cards look solid, so I think he'll have some high ownership here. It's got a little bit of place differential. Solid starting spot at 18th cash play, and I think he'll be pretty popular. Chastain is going to be the first prime play here at 84. I like the place differential. I think that he definitely has a top 10 car I didn't qualify good, but looked really good in practice. I think he can definitely get ahead of like the Dillons, the Josefars, the Suarez's, Zane Smith. So there's at least five cars that I think he's going to be able to pass, maybe more, and should be definitely a solid play here. Austin Cindric, I have GPP, almost should be a fade. Like we've seen a little bit more speed recently and a little bit more potential, but he's still getting into wrecks and trouble. So I I think that he's and the fours are just not super crazy about, and so I think he looked better than the Stuart Haas cars, but not as good as like front row and the RFK ones. So going to be a GPP there. Michael McDowell, who like him here, he had a lot of speed in practice. Again, just had a little bit of an issue on a qualifying lap. And just didn't get the desired result. But I think he's got some upside starting 21st here, 6,900, probably top 15, could sniff the top 10. And even if he just gets 10 place differential points up to like 11th, I'm fine with that. I'll take that 6,900. Harrison Burton is a fade here, starting way too far forward for me. I can't do it on this track here with him, and he just didn't have a ton of speed either. Eric Jones, I'm going to throw in as a 100K driver. It's another Toyota. He has driven well on super speedways and been able to make tough passes, and I think he can do that here again. He had enough speed. The legacy cars haven't been fast. His teammate John Hunter Nemechek was super slow. I just don't know what happened there with that team, but I think you can look at Jones here, and I don't think he's going to be super popular. And I think he's got some place differential, and I think he could have a solid day to balance out that 100K lineup for you. Kyle Busch is a GPP here. He has been so good at Pocono, probably the second best at Hamlin here, if you just look over the course of their careers. And but he's got to be a GPP just because the way his season's been going. Like we see so much potential, and we're like, oh, you know what? He's up there. This is clicking. This is the week. We got it. We nailed it. This is the week that Kyle Busch, and then something happens, and he gets wrecked, or he wrecks, or the car breaks down, or it's a slow pitch stop, or something gets in his head, and it just never works out. So I can't play him in cash, but GPP, I definitely like it. Noah Gregson, Stewart House, like I said, the cars weren't the greatest, but I think that he is, besides very qualifying, but his speed in practice, like Barry didn't have it. But I think Gregson is a really good driver, and he'll figure it out here. They'll make some adjustments, and he should be good. So I feel solid cash play for him. AJ Allmendinger, I have as a GPP play here, but I think he could definitely be pretty sneaky because he has always driven well at Pocono. Uh, this has got to be a better than a 26 place car. Um, Even though Colleague hasn't had a great season, it's kind of fallen down to like a second or third tier program. Not that they were first tier, but like they've definitely fallen down. Whatever tier you would have wanted to rank them on, like in the previous years, they're definitely down a couple tiers from there. I mean, they're not to the Rick Ware racing or the BJ McLeod genre, but they're definitely not up with the superstars either. But AJ, I think he has a solid day in Xfinity. I think that he's going to have a decent race here too. So I borderline thought about putting him as a cash play, but I left him as a GPP, but I think he could be pretty sneaky. And again, if you like don't feel good about Jones in the 100K lineup and want to pivot off him and go with Allmendinger, or you need like 700 more dollars to get where you want in your 100K lineup, then I'm okay using him as a substitute also. Hemrick, GPP for me. Uh, he's had some decent races recently, but it didn't really look good in speed for practice. So I think that, and he started a little bit more farther forward than I'd like him. Chase Briscoe, I think, even though those two Haas cars didn't have a ton, I think you can play him as cash play down here. 72 is a little bit steep, but he's got a little bit of safety net there with where he's starting for place differential, and I think some opportunity to get some upside. Bubba Wallace, he hit the apron or something on his qualifying run or got loose. Something I can't remember what happened, but um, he should be pretty fast and good. He was in practice, and this qualifying effort doesn't reflect how good the car is. Going to be highly owned. I don't know. He might be. I consider giving him the chalk one, but I thought just like Larson, Truex, and Hamlin would probably just garner more ownership on namesake. But if you're actually looking on like DFS play wise, where ownership should be, like Wallace should definitely be up there in the top five. He's just going to be good chalk. You just lock him in and go from there. LaJoy, I think he has some tremendous upside here in his starting position. Sometimes he starts way too far forward, but this is a great spot to get him at 5,600. Ricky Stenhouse has been solid at Pocono also. Didn't have a great qualifying effort, but he had enough speed and practice to make him worthy of a cash tag on him. And I think he'll be pretty low owned. John Hunter Nemechek, GPP would almost fade. Like I said, he was almost going backwards in practice, so I can't do it this week. Todd Gillian has just made some amazing strides, and his team has made some amazing calls. So I think that he's solidly as a cash play. And Justin Haley is going to be the final prime play down here. He has just overachieved all season long. He can only lose you 3 points, but he's going to start with 3 points anyways because there's not 40 cars in the field. So I think he's got potential to move up at 6,200. He's a solid cash play here to in a prime play to put in your lineup. Cody Ware, welcome back to NASCAR. I just don't see him having the same car or ability as Justin Haley. So GPP because he's intriguing, but I think he's probably going to finish somewhere in the low 30s. Ryan Priest, I think you got to play him in cash here, even though those Haas cars didn't have speed. He didn't either personally. Just a Stuart Haas car here, starting 36. Definitely should be able to get out of the 30s into like the high 20s. So I think there's some upside there. And he's got the floor for cash. And JJ Yaley in this New York racing car, I don't know how he landed in it or why they're even racing in it because they usually only go on like super speedways, but he was just so far off the pace. I just don't see him keeping up at all. I think he's just gonna be out there multiple laps down and just throw the towel before it's all in, kind of like a start and park. So not gonna go there. So like I said, I really like Chastain, Wallace, and Haley. And then I'm going to pay up and try to get some of probably two Doms in. So like a combination of Hamlin, Reddick, Larson, and Byron is probably where I'll go there. If I need Chase Elliott, then I'll drop down to them. But I think the core is solid enough and cheap enough to be able to get you two of those like dominators in, and then another decent mid range play to finish things off. So I got for you. If you have any questions, post chat below. Hit me Megaruler31 on Twitter /X. Just remember this race is a little bit earlier. It's like a 2:30. It's not like one of the 3:30 or 4 o'clock ones that we've had recently. So just be prepared and ready for a lock on that. If you want more information on FSidfs, DFS, you can go to the description of the video and pull up our pricing page from the link there, and so you can see that we're really relatively cheaply priced. $6 tomorrow or Sunday, whenever you watch this, will get you WNBA, it'll get you NASCAR coverage, it'll get you Major League Baseball coverage, it'll get you soccer coverage. You'll have the Euro final and the Copa de America final and some other slates mixed in there. The PGA Showdown cores are in there too. So much going on. Some notes for summer league basketball. So just come join us. It's a really good price and it's a great time. Also, as I said in the last video, to use your 3x crown because there's so many sports going on tomorrow. I'm doing this Saturday night. Actually, it's after midnight, so it is Sunday. So let's say today. So thanks for watching. If these videos help us back, like, subscribe to the channel, and share with friends. So thanks for watching. We got one more week of racing next week. I'll try to get the Cup and Xfinity videos out, depending on how much time we have in between practice and qualifying. But we'll definitely have a Cup video for the Indianapolis Brick Card file. 400, 500, how much probably 400. I don't think they drive 500 out, but if they do, we'll cover that too. So thanks for watching. Good luck in contest. Hope you have an amazing weekend. I'll see you next time.